Production function. Production function, this is a mathematical and technical relationship between output produced and the fact of production used to produce the output. Production function can be expressed as the form of chart or table, form of graph, and form of equation. So if you want to look at the relationship between the between the output produced and the fact of production, is to actually consider to speak about production function. Let's observe the first way of representing the production function, that is the form of charts. Suppose we have the units of capital, and we have the units of labor, and we have the resulting level of output. So we have unit of capital, that is constant 1, unit of labor is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and your output is 10, 20, 30, and 40. So this is a simple illustration of how you can represent the relationship between the output produced and input by using the table. So here is where you can present out the graph. So we sketch out the unit of labor, the unit of output, and the unit of labor, the units of input, factor of production. So our graph will go positively. Our graph looks as a positive relationship. This means that it's going upward. So when input increases, this means that output increases. For example, if the input increases to is 1, the output is 10. And if the input is 2, the output is 20. And if the output increases to 3, the output is 30. So the way you increase input is the way you increase the output level. So let's look on how we need also to cross-check on how we can present out the form of equation. So the equation, the output level is a function of labor, in capital. So this is how we present the equation relationship between the input and the output. So F represents the function, L represents the labor units, K represents the capital units. Now, for example, let's consider this equation here. Suppose we have the output level of the function, that is 2L plus 5. And let's assume that the amount of labor is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you want to find the output level, this means that the output level will take out the function of we plug in 1 to the first equation of output. The left hand side we have the labor units, and we have the output. So output 1 will be equals to the labor units we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So in order we can find the output level, we plug in the number of input factor of production, that is labor units. For example, for the first labor unit, that is 1, let you plug in 1 to the equation of output. 2L, this will be equals to 2 times 1 plus 5. The answer will be equals to 7. So when we plug in 2, it will be 2 times 2 plus 5. The answer will be equals to 9. The same we apply for this, the third and the last input factor. So we obtain 11, 13, and 15. So that is how we present. So for that case, let's try to look on how, let's jump to a next level to see on the types of production function. So we have several 3 types of production function. The first one is constant return to scale. Second one is increasing return to scale. Third one is decreasing return to scale. Increase return to scale, in this relationship, each additional unit of input results in a larger increase in output than the previous unit. For example, in agriculture, when we apply fertilizer, it may result to an increase in returns only at a small fraction. So increase in turn to scale are most explained by what is known as specialization and economies of scale. When you speak about specialization is whereby you organize the work on the specialist, on the individual professionals, so as to increase efficiency. And economies of scale is where you produce high output with minimal cost. So economies of scales are advantages gained by producers in the form of either reducing average cost of production or increasing gross margins resulting from the size of the business. And decreasing, another types of production function is decreasing time to scale. It is observed when each additional unit of input results into a smaller increase in product than the preceding unit. For example, when the producers doubles the factor of production, output increases less proportional than increase in input. So decreasing time to scale is where the producer increases a small amount of input and result into a smaller, increases a large amount of input and result to a smaller results of output level. So decreasing time to scale is explained by using the concept of these economies of scale. And most of the economies of scale occurs on this second type of production, that is decreasing time to scale. So these economies of scale is where producers increase in production by increasing the cost of production. It is the most common form of production in agriculture. So the slope of the curve becomes less and less steep. So this form of production function leads to in law of diminishing returns. So the law of diminishing returns, I hope you understand, when the total product, average product increases, it becomes a minimum point where it will start to decrease. So this is the illustration graph that shows that on a constant on the types of production function. So on the left, we have the increased time to scale, whereby producers increase small inputs and get large output. And we have the constant time to scale, whereby the increase of input leads to the same proportion increase in output. And we have the right hand side, we have the decreasing time to scale, whereby the producers increasing large input and they obtain a small quantity of output. So to this kind of return to scales, actually they kind to appear different depending on what the results of output the producers obtain after the increase of a certain input factor of production. So that is how we present out the graph on diminishing on what is known as the types of production functions. So thank you.